A very warm welcome back to the channel. In today's aviation news recap, an airline CEO is departing after years of trying to get an airline off the ground. There is a massive order for new aircraft in our aviation industry, and Qantas is stretching its wings with a brand new aircraft, and that's where I will begin. QantasLink, the regional airline within Qantas Group, has in the last week begun Airbus A220 operations to Hobart in Tasmania from Melbourne, the first time the aircraft has visited the state. Flight QF1291 arrived from Melbourne on July 1st, 2024, marking the new financial year, as the deployment of the new aircraft continues to align with future deliveries and the phasing out of existing aircraft types. While this is the first visit to the state of Tasmania, it won't be the last. QantasLink has a very strong presence across the state, and the company plans to deploy the A220 between Melbourne and Launceston from mid-November. The arrival of this Airbus A220 is widely considered the beginning of a major fleet overhaul within Qantas Group. These A220s will replace the aging but ever reliable T-tail jets that are the Boeing 717. With the A220, however, capable of serving any market in Australia, thanks to its enhanced capabilities, it has truly become a favourable option for the airline. Qantas is truly betting on those enhanced capabilities that I speak of to boost capacity across more regional flying and launch new routes that were previously impossible across that QantasLink network. For example, the A220 offers Qantas 25% fewer carbon emissions, while also being quieter to fly on. And the flag carrier says it's undoubtedly more comfortable. The adoption of this aircraft should enhance its overall efficiency and bump up customer satisfaction levels. The A220 entered service with QantasLink at the beginning of March, and this followed crew training missions conducted between Melbourne and Canberra for a short period. The 717, which the A220 is replacing, still remains in the QantasLink fleet. However, the numbers for this Boeing single are declining as it looks to integrate the next generation of much more fuel-efficient aircraft. So if you're in Australia, definitely head down to your local airport, as this aircraft won't be around for much longer and will soon just be a piece of history within the Australian aviation sector. Inside this next generation A220, there'll be 137 seats. However, most notably, the aircraft has indeed adopted business class with 10 seats available, so now QantasLink passengers will have greater choice when completing their travel, especially if it is for business purposes. In terms of the seat product, well, each seat will have a personal device holder, USB-A and USB-C charging, alongside 20% greater storage thanks to the overhead bins and larger space that will really propel it in the regional network. Over to new Pacific Airlines, where CEO, or should I say now former CEO, Rob McKinney has announced his departure from the airline group that not only he led for some time, but was incredibly passionate about. Rob McKinney was instrumental in helping develop new Pacific Airlines, formerly, and you'd probably know them better as Northern Pacific, from the ground up and trying to get the company airborne. The outgoing CEO says he experienced the highs and lows, but overall the journey was amazing. He was part of the restructuring of Raven Alaska and saving it from bankruptcy. However, the complexities within the group are ultimately too great. We know New Pacific Airlines is struggling and can hardly stay airborne. Furthermore, with several legal battles and service launches that failed in recent years, the company has really not fulfilled its initial purpose. McKinney, who led through these difficulties, said that as he departed the airline, there's a time when you don't see eye to eye. He leaves with immediate effect and said he owes the credit to the amazing team that achieved what seemed like the impossible. The departure of McKinney is another blow to NPA, which initially intended to use a fleet of Boeing 757s to fly between Alaska and ports in Asia, bringing tourism to the region. And while there was a launch event at the beginning of 2022 that I had the pleasure of attending, only months later, conflict broke out in Russia and Ukraine, resulting in travel restrictions on on Russian airspace, restricting New Pacific. Following these restrictions, New Pacific has been left scrambling. While attempting to find ways to get 757s that are in its name in the air, several endeavours have been explored, but ultimately failed. And they weren't able to sustain these. Months ago, they ceased scheduled flying, vowing to operate charter missions with its 757 fleet. What is next? Well, that remains to be seen. But with the CEO leaving, it certainly doesn't look all that promising. On to the final story. Cebu Pacific has selected formally Airbus to help power the future of its narrow-body fleet, and broader business, if you will. The major order, which has been many months in the making, was revealed as the Philippine-based company signed an MOU with the European plane maker. Valued at over USD 24 billion at list price value, no doubt discounts were included, so this price would not be accurate for the amount they actually paid. The deal includes 102 of the popular A321neo and 50 units for the base A320neo model. As part of the colossal agreement that covers 152 total single-aisle aircraft, it becomes the largest aircraft order in Philippine aviation history. So it's quite a substantial one. Back in 2023, Cebu Pacific issued a RFP, or more commonly referred to as just simply request for proposals. Basically, these are put forward towards aircraft manufacturers, in this case of Airbus and Boeing, to test the waters on aircraft availability for future flying. While Cebu has mostly relied on Airbus, and while the European plane maker therefore would be considered the favoured option, Boeing still has the opportunity in cases like this to put forward its own offering. That would have been the 737 MAX family. However, after much deliberation on the side of the Philippine-based airline, they decided to really cement their future with Airbus and add to the backlog of single-aisle jets that the plane maker has to deliver through with this hefty commitment. Cebu states that the purchase is ideally positioned for them, as there'll be room to adapt to the market conditions, which we know to be continuously adjusting. But what does that actually mean? Well, Cebu states that it can basically play around with the selected variants. That means as part of this order, if at some point in the next, say, 10 years, it deems it needs more A321neos over A320neos because of maybe the capacity bump, it'll be able to switch things around. The deal, while still needs to be finalized, is viewed as, like I said, an incredible moment for the company, but also the broader country. With over 150 aircraft included, it really does cement the intent from the airline for growth, which will be a key pillar for its future as it targets many more markets and bringing more people to the country. Getting aircraft orders in sooner rather than later we know to be something that is proving to be essential for airlines right around the world. This comes as delivery slots continue to be picked up, and airlines that are requiring capacity between now and the early 2030s haven't got their orders in already, will risk having no slots left at manufacturers. It's important though to also be aware that not all airlines can place orders so long in advance, and they'll look at other means to get aircraft in, such as the leasing market. That will conclude today's aviation news recap. Thank you very much for your support here on the channel. As always, if you've got any thoughts, well, you're more than welcome to drop them down below in the comments. Please take care, be safe. I'll see you same place, same time tomorrow for your latest industry news.
And we'll fly.